Swisher break. And you know what? I'm going to start off with a little bit of a layup line first. And just quickly, man, your first thought that pop into your mind, I'm going to start with you, Flannel Sam, on the Pistons' strength and the Pistons' biggest weakness.
Okay.
Chat family, I need to know from you guys. We've got a little bit of the draft, a little bit of free agency. What do you believe their biggest strength and their biggest weakness is?
Biggest strength is having Cade Cunningham. And I hate to take like the stock answer, but I think this is the year where he takes a leap into full-on, I don't want to say just universally accepted superstar, but I could see it. And I just think the biggest weakness, big man shooting. I don't think it's detrimental or anything, but as of right now, I'd say big man shooting.
What up, though, JB Smooth?
No, I kind of like that answer as well too. I definitely think the weakness is the big man shooting. You're missing that right now. Hopefully, the trades aren't done, and there's still some free agent prospects out there we can still grab. And as far as the strengths, I like the shooting now that you have with Karis LeVert, Duncan Robinson, and Cade, and to see what Ivy's going to bring to the table as well too. So it looks very promising, but I still would like to see a big man getting here picked up in the off season.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, Rob Beer, what about you, brother?
I think their strength is their depth now, that you can look at Duncan Robinson. I'm assuming he's not going to start. He could. You get a nice three-point shooter out there with Cade and with that starting group. But even if he doesn't, your second unit would have Karis, Duncan, Stu. You have a really good second unit where you could go 10 deep.
Definitely, and another year of Ron Holland and Marcus Sasser, too, who down the stretch, they played some pretty important roles. Ron Holland, from the beginning of the season, he made his presence felt by being an all-out hustle guy, defense guy, and willing to put up the dukes with anybody, man. Even they ain't even trying to fight. Hey, but I like that because, like T. Foster, the legend, always says, you need some of those a-holes on your team. And I think one more season of him understanding the NBA, one more season of him working, off-season of him working with Fred Vincent, one more off-season of putting on NBA weight and development, I am looking forward to what this bench can be. And I do believe that the Pistons are a little bit more of a balanced team right now than they were last year. I think that, yes, you had the volume shooting on lock. You knew that Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley, as soon as that ball touched their hands, that ball could find its way into the basket within a second. And they were really, really good at that, at volumes, high percentage at high volume. But now I think that you have some players who can still hit at a pretty good percentage, maybe not at the volume, but where they may lack in volume, they're not less reliable from shooting. It's just that they give you a little bit more. They can do a little more. They can pass a little more. They can play make a little bit more. And I do welcome that for the Pistons, especially losing Dennis Schroeder, who played that type of a role for the Pistons in the playoffs. But when you look at the playoffs, these are players who I know Flannel Sam pointed out earlier. These are players who I actually believe are going to be able to more readily play their role. And we shift a little bit of that dependency off of any one bench player solely like we did Beasley to balancing it out amongst the whole team and allowing these younger players that are ready to step towards stardom to really carry that weight. But let me go to the next.
And the weakness, the weakness is I think defense overall. That losing Schroeder, you're going to see that. You will see the impact of that as the year progresses. But social media and Twitter specifically is saying that Karis LeVert is trash. I think he's really going to help, especially on that second unit when there were times you couldn't buy a bucket and they got into these long scoreless droughts. Having Karis there will absolutely help this team.
Yes.
Yep, definitely, man. I'm looking forward to it. And on to the next question. Let me see here. I wanted to be able to talk about Beasley just off the top because some people, they have this question, they have this concern, they have this comment. Whether charged or not, as long as he's not suspended for a full season, it's our first switch or break question, the Pistons should seek to bring Beasley back on a cheaper deal. Swish or break, Flannel Sam?
I am going to go brick. Because of semantics, you said seek. If it falls in their lap, fine. If it's something so cheap you can't refuse it, fine. But I've been on record saying earlier on in the show that at the end of the year, we're going to look at Duncan Robinson as more impactful in 25-26, including the playoffs, than Malik Beasley was last year. No disrespect to Beasley's regular season, but very high on the Duncan Robinson signing. So I'm going to say brick because of the word seek.
Yeah, what up though, JB Smooth?
if it's cheap, sure. But I'm still going to be a little hesitant about bringing him back just with everything going on right now. But if it's cheap, as Flannel said, and it falls in your lap, yeah, go
this
for it.
This ain't quite a switch. This is like one of those toilet bowl rolls.
Yeah.
Almost looks like it's about to roll out, but it kind of falls in.
Yeah, one of those. Like I'm still not 100% convinced on it. I like that. I like that analogy better. Defense goaltending.
Hey, what up, though, Rob here? What say you?
I'm going to say this is a wedgie. This is an in-between.
That's probably so appropriate.
I think it's going to bring a lot of distraction at the end of the day, because every day there's somebody from out of town. Every road game, somebody asking about this. Is this a distraction? Yes, it's a distraction because you're asking about it again. I don't think they want to have that. I think the ship has sailed. There's really not a fit for him roster-wise anymore. So unless they trade or do something else, I just don't think it fits anymore.
You know what? I agree with that. We talked about, this aspect of knucklehead energy. And if we said this even about J-Mo, who everyone said he's a good person, but even Dan Campbell said we need him to mature. And so it's like keeping that same energy. It's like you want to make sure that same aura or atmosphere around a player, it continues to be one that's maturing towards the benefit of the team and showing that these people are putting in that work in the gym. Hey, it was interesting to see on Malik Beasley. That's where he hit the gym. But you know what? Let me see here. Where's that next one? Here we are. Because this is one that kind of coincided with the question that Flannel Sam asked you. The Detroit Pistons are still a top 6 team in the East.
You know what?
Flannel Sam.
Swish. I can't glaze the Duncan Robinson signing as much as I did and then go brick. I love what the Hawks did. You're Hawks now, Rod Beard. I like the... I think the Bane addition for the Magic could potentially be worth what they gave up, but at the same time, Pacers no Halliburton, Bucks just released Dame. Who knows how Miles Turner is going to fit on the team? I'm good. Knicks still don't have a coach. I'm going to go that they will be a top 6 team.
Yeah, definitely, because they were brought back Gary Trent Jr. On the
Yeah,
low.
that's a good move for them.
That's a good move,
yeah.
but they lose Brook Lopez, who's a Pistons killer. They do bring in Miles Turner, who's a Pistons killer, but not quite to the same level. It's going to be interesting to see. I do believe the Pistons are primed to retain that top 6. But JB Smooth, how do you feel about it?
Oh, I think this is an easy switch, man. This is open layup right here. I mean, aside from Cleveland, Boston, and you're interested in see what Orlando does as well too. Milwaukee's just kind of like getting shot in the foot. Like what happened? You got rid of Dame. Giannis is over here wondering what the hell he's coming back to with this team. So it's up there in the air for Milwaukee, but definitely top 6. Come on now.
Hey, before we get to Rod, the chat, they got a live on this one. Lunchbox says no. Dante151, no. Swish. Shot 216, he believes that they are top 4 right now. What up, though, with Detroit Gunny? Swish from 30 feet.
Wow.
He's deep. He's back there from Steph Curry range, man. Let me see here. Weezy D303, top 6, easy. Uncle Wayne, top 4. Charles McClain, brick. Big CP believes that Boston is done. I actually disagree with that. I think they got some pedigree.
No, Boston not done.
They got some. What say you, Rod Beer?
This is a top 6. This is a top 4 discussion now. Like, let's say Cleveland and Orlando. Let's make those givens. Is Boston better? Question mark. Don't know.
I still think yes.
There's so many other. Yeah, but there's so many other teams that have question marks.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's star for star now, though. Look at my shirt.
Supporting cast and depth, I think, are going to keep the Pistons in the top 4 discussion. They may not be by the end of the year, but they are definitely top 6. But you can wonder about top 4. There are fewer question marks with the Pistons than there are with every other team that's in that same realm. Is Porzingis going to be healthy? He's really the linchpin to all of this. If they don't have Porzingis, they don't really have a true center that's been tested and kind of gets it. Besides Okongwu, and I wouldn't say Okongwu is a full season starter that you count on and makes you a top 4 team. And the Pistons bring most of that stuff back. And what they don't bring back, I think they improved on. Is Duncan Robinson going to be better or give you the same production as Beasley? Yes. When you look at THJ versus Karras, that's a wash, probably. in terms of leadership, THJ may have been better, but I think in the second group and a clear second group guy for Karras puts him in a better spot. And you're getting Ivy back. You don't have questions about it. Are they as good in any places? It's are they worse? And it's probably no in most of these.
Goodness gracious, I like that. And you know what? This is the last one before we wrap up the Woodward Pistons segment. Trajan Langdon, he's had to pivot. We have to keep that in mind with this context. But swish or brick, Trajan Langdon has not done enough this offseason, even considering the fact of the Malik Beasley news. Swish or brick, Flannel Sam.
I am going to say a slight swish with the context of the Beasley situation is tough to navigate, and I think the way that he handled getting the replacement was more than adequate. I'd still like one more move as of right now, but so I'll say a slight. He hasn't done enough, but it hasn't been bad by any stretch of the imagination.
Hey, what say you, JB Smooth? You think Trajan Langdon has not done enough this offseason?
This is one of those
It's tough.
those layups that don't really go in, but you, as Angel Reese said, gets one of those me bounds, and then you put it back up there. So it was a slight brick, but then you put it right back up there, and it went down. So as Flannel said, I like the way Trajan's navigating this whole Beasley thing.
Yeah.
If things fall into place and he actually comes back off a cheaper deal, all right, cool. But so far, I mean, I like the picks that he's had and people that he's picked up, but once again, I still need that big man.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. But given the circumstance, I would actually throw a brick out there. You know,
Really?
if we believe that the conversation is that they're still a top 4 team, that's because of, as currently constructed, that's because of in part what he's done to at least go out there and do what I think I saw something DNC he believes we made lateral moves, but I think given the circumstance, that's why it is just enough for this team if they still have top 6, top 4 expectations. But what say ye, Rod Beard?
What did we say he needed to do? It's kind of take care of and get 2 of the 3 big free agents they had and go out and get Naz Reid, gone. All of the big 3J, gone. All of the bigs that we talked about was the biggest sort of how you can improve this team. Miles Turner, gone with a bag. Like, you weren't getting any of those guys. Santi Aldama, gone. All of the bigs were gone before he really even got started to do anything. So for what he could do, and then it's just you're trying to start your car and the alternator's messed up. You just got to fix one thing at a time. And the Beasley thing came out of the blue because they were already looking at the deal for that. So you fix that thing with going to get Duncan Robinson, and you give up Tech. I mean, you certainly upgraded at that thing. So I think he's done enough. Can you go and get another 4 to try to make it a little bit better? You can. But is this roster right now as constituted a playoff team? Yes. Is it a top 4 team? You can debate it. But can he do a little bit more? Yeah. But has he done enough? Yes.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with really all the sentiments here. And Cartier, he asks, how do we get better? Because he said you just can't keep going out there and drafting in the 20s and signing Karis LeVert. I believe, as we've said for I don't know how many years, when we saw Orlando and Houston both make the leap, we said it was on whose backs, whose responsibility? Those young players that they drafted high. There was a lot that they placed on Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero, and those guys helped lead the Magic to play in. They helped lead them to some early successes that we would have traded early on. We said, look, the Magic just passed us up. The Rockets, we were at the same level, they passed us up. The Cavs, we saw what they did the first couple years, and then boom, they turned it all the way around underneath JB Bickerstaff. And so, you know, I'm looking at this team now finally being in a position to where those young players can be the ones that help move this team forward.